Hello, and welcome to the VoxOffice, where we are free because
there are no strings on me.
And today we're talking about adaptations. So, when it comes to adaptations, we're talking to adaptations to movies here, obviously. They can be from comic books, novels, short films, kind of get adapted and extended and added to from movies. There's any other form of media into a movie is what we're talking about here. Now, adaptations normally go into two kind of categories. You have the purist adaptation. This is where you take exactly what is in the original and you make it on screen. Two of my favourite examples for this that I think worked really well and did exactly that were The Road, which was an apocalyptic story. The novel was written by Cormac McCarthy, and the film was dead on. The film actually had to add things to make it feature length. The second one is Watchmen, the original by Alan Moore, and this film is basically shot for shot the book, the graphic novel.
One of us died tonight.
And the other camp, the other category of adaptations, are the kind of adapting the theme and the characters. This works in stories where you couldn't fit it all in, or where it just doesn't kind of work for film. My favourite example for this, on its own, it's not anything else, is V for Vendetta. It's perfect for this. The graphic novel is complicated. It's so complicated. There's about 6 storylines happening at once. You can never put it into a film. You need a few films. Even then, it's going to be confusing. But what they did is they took the character of V, the character of Evie, and Autumn, and Finch, and everyone, and they told a very, very similar story. And it's not that they didn't just simplify it; they changed it because it needed changing. The film is just as good as the graphic novel, but that's because they realised they can't just translate the page onto film. So those are your two categories. You've got purist adaptation and you've got kind of more malleable, more changed adaptations. There are bad ones of each, where it was clear they should have done the other one. Now, a really, really bad purist adaptation is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The film's fine, but the problem with it is that so much of the book works because it's written humour. And with the film, they basically just took all of the stuff from the book and made it on film. That's not what you do. With that kind of material, you need to make it so that they are visual and audible gags rather than written ones. You need to change the style of it enough so that it works more for film in the same way that it worked for everyone when they read it. So that's one where it should have been a changed adaptation. Ones that kind of get it wrong because they change it too much are many. Just look at most video game adaptations. They know they can't do 10 hours, they change it too much. Resident Evil, sort of top of the head answer. Nothing like the games, and it's just terrible. Should have stuck more to the games. There's actually one kind of in the middle one. I just want to say this because I really like it. And it's really underrated. Prince of Persia, really good adaptation of the games, purely because they changed it so much, but it worked. It's a video game adaptation that's good. So yeah, that just want to get it off my chest. Good film. Go watch it if you haven't. It will surprise you. So back to the topic on hand. Getting closer to the final conclusion. Adaptations have two ways they can go. Often they go the wrong way. When they go the right way, it's amazing. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is my favourite Marvel comic is being adapted into a movie, and it's this one, Marvel's Civil War event from a few years ago. I love this. The reason it's my favourite Marvel book is because it really, really delves into the characters more than a lot of the other material does. Because conflict shows character. And it gets really interesting and it feels really grounded, as if what would happen if superheroes existed in the real world. And this is getting adapted into a movie. It's going to happen in Captain America 3, now titled Captain America Civil War. Now we are going to do a podcast on all of the recent superhero announcements, so we're not going to do a whole Avengers 2 and all that sort of stuff thing right now. You'll see that in next month's podcast, because we can fill half an hour of that stuff really easily. Yeah, so Captain America Civil War is going to be made, and it's being written and stuff now. The reason that I brought up earlier, the two categories, is I really, really hope they don't try and do a purist adaptation. And I have confidence they won't, and actually they can't. I'm really hoping that they change it enough so that the only thing that this carries through to the movie is what the characters stand for. The only thing the movie needs to work is for a registration act to come into place, for Iron Man to agree with it for the reasons he does in the book, that he wants to instill trust in the people, and Captain America disagrees with it because he doesn't want to be fighting for the government. That you can scrap the rest of it, and I really hope they do, because if they try and adapt all of this into a movie but leave out, try to adapt the story from this but leave out the Punisher, who was an integral role, leave out Wolverine and Reed Richards, because they don't have them. Oh, and Sue Storm has an amazing story arc in this, but they can't use her. I really hope, and I have faith, that they are just going to take the core elements, as they have done with Iron Man Extremis for Iron Man 3. They just took the core elements and made a new story with them, and it worked. Actually, the first part of Extremis is what Iron Man 1 turned into. So I have faith they will. But I just thought that my excitement for this being made into a film put to some good use into telling you that adaptations can go right or wrong. Just know why they do. I've been Tom. This has been the Vox Office, and we'll see you next time. Bye.